Hey guys, Santa Clocks here with another set of NFL predictions. This time it's week 14. Anyways, there are no bye weeks in the NFL anymore. Not that they got rid of bye weeks. As of this season, there are no more byes. So all 32 teams will be playing, and each team has had 12 games played. And yeah, they caught up with Tampa and Carolina after week 13. So, yeah. All 16 teams will be playing. All 32 teams will be playing 16 games this week. Next week, week 16 and week 17. So, yeah. Let's get into the games. All right. We're also going to be recapping week 13 and how that went during this. The New England Patriots that stuffed the Los Angeles Chargers 45-0. Chargers didn't even score a single touchdown or even a field goal. And because of this loss, they got eliminated from the playoffs. That's right. The Chargers aren't making the playoffs. There are 14 other teams that are going to be eliminated. And there are actually 18. There are 14 more teams left to not make the playoffs. So, yeah, there are only 14 teams left. There are only 14 teams left to not make the playoffs. There are 14 teams that will make the playoffs, and we will be discussing that during this prediction video. And the Patriots are facing another Los Angeles opponent in the Rams. And, yeah, nice win against the Cardinals. I think the Rams can pull it off. I mean, they are playing in SoFi Stadium. I think that's what that means. The team below is the home team. So the Rams they're playing at SoFi, so I think that the Rams could win it. Their defense is outstanding. They've got Aaron Donald. They've got all those fantastic linebackers. They've got every single piece they need to stuff Cam Newton like they stuffed Kyler Murray. They stuffed Kyler Murray like they stuffed a turkey for Thanksgiving. And, yeah. Sacked him a few times. Yeah, Aaron Donald is leading that defense. And with him at the helm, I think the Rams could stuff the Patriots and win the game tonight. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams. The Tennessee Titans, who lost to the Cleveland Browns last week, 41-35. Take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who lost 27-24 in overtime. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans. The Browns stuffed Derrick Henry and his offensive drives. But yeah, they're playing Jacksonville. This is an AFC South matchup that is determined to give the Titans a 9-4 spot. The Rams will be going 9-4. The Patriots 6-7. And the Jags are going to fall to 1-12, as the Jags will lose every single bit of the season they have left. So I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are back in action after a week 13 bye. Vikings won against the Jags, and yeah, I think this bye will help Tom Brady with his throwing deep problem. Hopefully he was practicing throwing deep. But Yes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win against the Vikings, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will go 8-5 this week. As for the Vikings, they'll be going 6-7. I'm going to go with the Bucs. The 11-1 Kansas City Chiefs take on the Miami Dolphins, who are 8-4. Yeah, they didn't do so hot against the Cincinnati Bengals, but they still won the game. A couple players got disqualified because throwing punches. Tyler Boyd, a couple linemen at the end of the game. There were like there were like 5 ejections in that game, and it was just a bloodbath. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because A, I'm a Chiefs fan, and B, they're 11-1. They're gonna win out the rest of the season, then go 15-1. And the Dolphins, yeah, they didn't play so hot against Cincinnati, even though Cincinnati is awful. And they were also eliminated from playoff contention, as their record is currently 9-1. So good for Cincinnati. They deserve this playoff elimination. As for Kansas City, they've made the playoffs. My team has made the playoffs. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Tyreek. My Kansas City Chiefs have made the playoffs. And are currently standing at 11-1 as the number 1 seed in the AFC. So yeah, Kansas City. The 4-8 Denver Broncos take on the 4-8 Carolina Panthers, who are also back on a Week 13 bye. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Panthers. I get this is trying to be a remake of Super Bowl 50. These matchups are... Yeah, these matchups are much like the Super Bowl. Two Super Bowl remakes. Patriots, Rams, Broncos, Panthers. But anyways, the Broncos aren't going to be winning this time because they don't have Peyton Manning. He retired after that game. And they don't have Cam Newton. They have Teddy Bridgewater, who suffered a torn ACL in 2016. But anyways, I'm going to go with the Panthers. Chiefs would fall to 12-1. Actually, Chiefs would improve on 12-1. And the Dolphins would fall to 8-5. By the way. Bucs 8-5. Vikings 6-7. All right. The Broncos are falling to 4-9. And the Panthers are going to go 5-8. After this matchup, you see I'm going to predict records as well. And outcomes. So yeah, Panthers are going 5-8. Broncos are going to fall to 4-9. The Houston Texans take on the Chicago Bears. Nice joke job. Against Detroit. Yeah, nice joke job, Chicago. I get your head coach isn't calling the plays anymore, but dear God, are you awful. You're not Jets bad, but you're terrible. I thought I had hope. But it turned out to be false hope. as you have lost 6 straight games. And against the Texans, who also choked against Indianapolis last week, to fall to 4-8. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Texans. Sorry, Bears fans. I've got to call you out on this one. Your team sucks. At least my team, Kansas City, is making the playoffs. Well, your team is sitting down there thinking about what you said earlier in the season when you thought you were going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. That title has been given to the New Orleans Saints. So much for your number 1 seed hopes, Bears fans. I'm looking at you. Looking at you, Nathan. I remember when you would always tell me the Bears would go at least 15-1. I mean, I don't think you told me that, but I remember when you told me the Bears were good. 5-7? I remember when you were 5-1. Back in week 6. Yeah. But I didn't help. You've lost 6 straight. You have the same exact record as the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry, Bears fans. I had to say it. As a Chiefs fan, Houston. I'm going with Houston. For the first time in these predictions, I'm going with the Texans. Because at least they can play football. You're going to lose your 7th straight game. You're going to choke. You're going to choke like you did against Detroit last week. Houston's going to be 5-8. And you are going to be falling to 5-8 as well. Texans. I will not pick the Bears until they win a game. Because for right now, the Bears are terrible. The Arizona Cardinals, who are currently sitting at 6-6, take on the NFC East New York Giants. They are the leaders of the NFC East. How? They're tied with the Washington football team. We'll get to that in a minute. But the Cardinals lost against the Rams last week. Played pretty decent. And the Giants, calling out Seahawks fans over here, you lost to the Giants. Seahawks lost to the Giants, everyone. Look at that. Giants are improving. Joe Judge may keep his job. I know Adam Gase still has a job in the NFL. 0-12. Talk about the Jets in a minute. Because they're right at the bottom. But if I had to go with any, I'd have to go with the Cardinals. My friend's a Cardinals fan, and I think 6-6 is better than that 5-7 crap they pulled in Chicago. I'm going to go with the Cards. I know it's one game better, but at least the Cards are doing pretty decent. They have a .500 record. Yeah. Cardinals. Cardinals are going to go 7-6. Giants are going to fall to 5-8, but that's okay because the Giants are going to win more games. They've got 3 more games after this one. They could possibly go 5-11 or quite possibly 8-8 and clinch the division title. And the Giants may make the playoffs. Undeserved, but Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. The Dallas Cowboys. Do I really have to say it, Cowboys fans? 3-9 doesn't get you into the playoffs. Being blasted by the Ravens doesn't get you into the playoffs. The only reason you're still in the playoff hunt is because you are part of the NFC East. Which is Tank Division. This is a Tank Bowl. By any means. Surprised there were no Tank Bowls in Week 13, but Week 14 there will be a Tank Bowl between the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals, who are out of playoff. They are out of playoff contention. And the Cowboys, give them a win. I'm going to give them a win here. Cincinnati's awful. They're going to fall to 2-10-1, and the Cowboys are going to have their first win in a long time as they are going to go 4-9. Hopefully they are not in the playoff hunt this year. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I mean, I did that on Thanksgiving, and that all hell broke loose. But, I didn't expect Washington to, obliterate them. The Indianapolis Colts, who are second in the AFC South, take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Colts beat the Texans, and the Raiders beat the Jets. As predicted by yours truly, I got 12 out of 15 games right. The only ones I got wrong were the Bears versus the Lions and the Seahawks versus the Giants. I'll talk about that last game here in a minute when I talk about the Washington football team. You probably know what it is by now. But anyways, I personally would like to go with the Raiders. Not because the Colts are bad. I think the Colts could pull it off. But the Raiders, they've got Henry Ruggs. He's probably one of the best. He's probably a good candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And that's saying something. He's a good receiver. He catches balls. He goes fast. He's a fantastic sprinter on that field. So, yeah. And the Colts defense, it's okay. It's no Rams defense, but it's an okay defense. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders. Plus, the Colts had an advantage of playing the Texans. And remember I said last week that I was going to regret making that decision because the Texans beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders. The New York Jets suck. The Jets are 0-12. The Jets are borderline terrible. They are awful. I mean, seriously. That offensive line needs to go. They need to get a fresh offensive line out of the first round, and they're probably only going to get 7 picks this year. But that's okay. That's okay because the Jets need a new offensive line. They invested heavily in Mekhi Becton in the first round, even though he doesn't really do anything. And they still have Darnold on the helm. They ought to draft Trevor Lawrence if they are actually caught tanking. Then they will lose their first round pick, and they will not draft Trevor. The Jaguars will get Trevor because they will probably go 1-15 and only have one game won in the season. But they are playing the Seattle Seahawks, who played horribly against a New York Giants squad that wasn't really tanking. I mean, Colt McCoy looks pretty decent, from what I can tell. And the Jets, the road to 0-16 is coming, Jets. 0-13. You're gonna accomplish it. Oh, by the way, the Raiders will succeed to 8-5, and the Colts will make it to 8-5. Okay. Yeah. And the Titans will probably clinch the division this year as they are a powerhouse. But the Jets, you think I was going to ignore you? You think I really was going to ignore you, New York Jets? You're playing the Seahawks. And they could probably dominate against you if your offensive line can catch a football. I mean, Russell Wilson did have trouble throwing last week. But, no matter. They're playing the Seahawks. So, by rule, the Jets will lose. The Jets will lose the contest. They will, if they're caught tanking, they'll lose their first round pick in Trevor Lawrence. And, yeah. It's going to be Jets or Jags that are going to get Trevor Lawrence. The Bengals aren't going to draft him because, they're probably going to get the 3rd overall pick. Because they have the 3rd worst record in the league right now. But they're playing the Seahawks, who are 8-4, so they're going to succeed to 9-4. And the Jets, you think you were going to win this season? No way. You are going 0-13, my friends. Oh, wait, I'm not your friends. At least you're not in a division with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 11-1. They only have one loss. And do you know to who? The Las Vegas Raiders in their first divisional rivalry showdown. And the Raiders won because they came back. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. This was the 9-3 Green Bay Packers, who are 1 win away from clinching that number 1 seed. Actually, 2 wins if the Saints lose a game and fall to 10-3. They take on the Detroit Lions. It's another NFC North matchup. Lions beat the Bears. It was kind of undeserved, and the Bears didn't play so hot, but that's okay. The Lions won't win this game because the Green Bay Packers have one of the best offenses I've seen in a while. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. Who did they draft? Jordan Love? He's not playing, is he? He can't. Aaron Rodgers is a god on the field. And I'm not even a Packers fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. I can't believe how good the Green Bay Packers have turned out. They have the exact same record as Cleveland. 9-3. As for the Detroit Lions, they are 5-7 and will fall to 5-8 in this matchup. The Packers will win, and they will be 10-3. If the Saints lose, then they'll have the exact same record, and if the Packers win again, they will get that number 1 seed. They'll make the playoffs, and so on. I can't believe it. Look at this. Look at this treachery. The ultimate choke bowl of the season. The Atlanta Falcons take on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Falcons lost to the Saints to give them the playoff spot. And the Chargers, yeah, they were eliminated. But the Falcons are currently 4-8. And the Chargers are 3-9. I'm going to go with the Falcons because the Chargers look awful. They're not Jets bad, but they are horrible. I think they could get a number 4 overall pick in this next draft if they continue to play like they have. So they are going to fall to 3-10, and the Falcons will succeed to 5-8. The Washington Screwball Team. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I say that wrong? They're called the Redskins again. Really? Come on, man. My correction. They are called the Washington Sackball Team. Because that's pretty much how their defense is playing. They can stuff good quarterbacks like the Rams can, and they have that good defense. They've got John Bostic. They've got... Who else? Who else in that line? I have no idea. John Bostic. He threw an interception at the very end. Against the Steelers. We'll talk about the Steelers in a minute when I discuss their matchup against the Buffalo Bills. But the Washington football team defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers. In a matchup that I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers could win, what did they do? Implode. Implode on offense, implode on defense, do absolutely nothing to stop the Washington defensive line. Cost them the game, cost them their winning streak, 11-1. Urinating Tree is pretty pissed. And he's one of my favorite sports YouTubers. He is from Pittsburgh. He is a Yinzer at heart. And his team falls to 11-1 against a team with no name. As Tree said, this is the worst 11-1 team ever. And I believe that statement is the most accurate thing that I can say about the Pittsburgh Steelers is that they are the worst 11-1 team ever. They broke their winning streak to a team with no name. They are called the Washington Football Team, and you guys lose to them? What? You had a 14-point lead in the half. Come on. Come on. Seriously. That is one of the worst performances of the Pittsburgh Steelers that I have seen in a long time. I'll talk about them later. As for the football team, they are playing the San Francisco 49ers. They could call themselves the 76ers in regards to 1776 when this country was founded, or the 87ers. They could do something like that, like when Delaware first became a state. The 49ers. They're playing the 49ers, everyone. And I believe that the 49ers didn't do so hot against Buffalo. And that was a game that I thought that the Bills would win because they have a good offense. As for that D, I think the 49ers could probably pull it off. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. And if not, then the Washington football team will be 6-7. And the 49ers will be falling to, 5-6 and then 5-7. They'll probably fall to 5-8 after this game. The New Orleans Saints take on the Philadelphia Eagles. They are one game away from being eliminated from the playoffs. The Eagles in the NFC East. They're one loss away. One or two losses away will get them eliminated. And the NFL won't eliminate them because they are part of the NFC East, like the Cowboys. And they'll probably still be in the playoff until the end of the season. Until, if the entire NFC East implodes, then they'll probably all be eliminated except for the New York Giants because they'll probably clinch the division. But the New Orleans Saints are 10-2. And they have made the playoffs. There are only two teams that have made the playoffs so far. The New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs. Both who have the number one seed in their conferences. The Saints have the number one seed in the NFC, and the Chiefs have the number one seed in the AFC. Oh, hello. I mean, I could do this with, in the 16 by 9 aspect ratio. I'm going to do that next season. As for right now, the New Orleans Saints have made the playoffs. As for the Eagles, well, yeah, that was a your head coach is a hack. Your head coach, Doug Peterson, is a hack. You make stupid play calls. Your team sucks. You have no offensive line. You put Jalen Hurts in there for more than one play, and he throws a couple passes, but that's okay. I think Jalen Hurts is what you need. Carson Wentz is one of those people that I really want to see. At least Doug Peterson decided to start him this week against the Saints, but, the Saints are going to win because they still have Taysom Hill, and Drew Brees might not come back this season. I think Taysom Hill is what they need. I mean, he's poised, he's confident in his throws, he's a good quarterback. As for Carson Wentz, though, yeah, he's not good. He's terrible. I feel bad for Sam Darnold for being drafted by the Jets. 3rd overall in 2018. I'm going to go with the Saints. They're going to go to 11-2, and the Eagles will fall to 3-9-1. Oh, boy. Sunday Night Football gives us a treat. The 11-1 Pittsburgh Steelers, who put on an offensive clinic on Monday against a team with no name. That is the worst performance I've seen of the Steelers in a long time. Worst performance. They kept throwing the ball. Ben Roethlisberger can't throw deep. He threw to a third-string running back, Anthony McFarland Jr., drafted in this past draft out of the 4th round. And what does Big Ben do? He keeps passing. Where's the run game? That's right, you have none. As for the John Bostic interception, I think that sealed the game for Washington. That is one of the worst performances of football I've seen in a long time for Pittsburgh. Steelers are going to Super Bowl. They're not. They don't even have a playoff spot. They're in the number 2 seed in the AFC. They don't even have a playoff spot yet, and still the Chiefs have it. At least my team is good. What about you, Tree? What about you? What about your Steelers? Your team's pathetic. Your team is pathetic. And even he knows it. He knows the team's... Tree knows that the team's pathetic. He even says it in Sports Ball. He said the Steelers are the worst 11-1 team ever. And I totally agree with him because they have no offense. They have no run game. They have a third-string running back, Pat, catching a football. Come on, Pittsburgh. I get that these predictions are long. I get that these predictions are really long. They're like 45 minutes. But it has to be said. The Steelers are the worst 11-1 team I've seen in a long time. And it was like the Patriots last year, where the Patriots went undefeated for 8 games. And then guess what happened? The Ravens stomped all over them in week 9. Oh, wait, week 10. Because they were on a bye in week 9, I believe. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are the worst 11-0 team I have seen in a long time. But alas, they will lose to the Buffalo Bills, who are currently sitting at 9-3, clinching the AFC East. I think they've got it in the bag. The Bills will win this game because the Steelers are pathetic, and I will not root for the Steelers until they play good again. Plus, I'm from Cleveland. Why should I root for the Steelers? Oh, they're 11-0. You gotta root for them. No! I am from Cleveland. I am not a dedicated Browns fan, but I will never be a Steelers fan in my entire life. Ever. The Bills. This is an easy one. The Bills. Okay, last game of the season. I am sorry for that little outburst there, but it had to be said. Steelers are awful now. The Baltimore Ravens, who took on the Dallas Cowboys and scored with a 17-point lead out of it, are currently sitting at 7-5. Take on the 9-3 Cleveland Browns. The Steelers are going 11-2, and the Bills will probably go 10-3. The Browns are playing the Ravens, and I get they have Lamar Jackson back, but I think the Browns can pull it off. On Monday Night Football, I can see my home team take on a division rival and squander all over. Squandered all over a legitimate opponent in the Titans. Why not play the Ravens and win? Sure, you have 38-6. That was a fluke. That was week 1. Sure, you have 38-7 against the Steelers. But the Steelers are awful. And you played them in week 17. You're going to win. The Browns are going to make the playoffs at 10-3. As for the Ravens, they'll be going 7-6. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns because I'm from Cleveland. I should root for my home team, even though I am a Chiefs fan at heart. Anyways, I'm sorry for these extra long predictions. This probably was 45 minutes long, wasn't it? But anyways, we'll be seeing you next week when I go over week 14 and predicting for week 15. I will be predicting records as well. Like for the week. I mean, I'll be doing that in the week 17 predictions. Like predicting final records. I mean, week records. So yeah, I'll be doing that from now on. And I will be doing that during the postseason and the 2021 NFL season. So anyways, I'm sorry for that outburst against Pittsburgh. I mean, Yinzers out there are probably pissed. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, you had an 11-0 winning streak and you blew it against a team with no name. So, yeah. I'm sorry these predictions were super long, but they had to be done. Stay tuned for the game tonight, and go Rams. Go Rams tonight. And as always, go Chiefs.